Hello, 大家好, I'm Grace. In Mandarin Chinese, there are 4 tones and a neutral tone. You might have already learned the pitches for pronouncing the 4 tones, but how exactly do we pronounce the neutral tone? Do we pronounce it with a high or a low pitch? That's what we're going to find out and practice today. 我们现在开始吧。Good news, my video on teaching Chinese tones has nearly 1 million views and has helped so many people. So I've decided to create an online course where I will dive deeper into teaching you how to pronounce Chinese tones more smoothly and naturally, as well as explain how Chinese intonation works. If you want to improve your pronunciation and be the first to know when my course is released and get special discounts, send an email to gracemandaриnchinese@gmail.com. You can find the information in the description below. As you might know, in Chinese, each character has a tone, meaning that there's a pitch pattern associated with it. Like 时 has the second tone, so it has a rising pitch. There are some words in Chinese, many of which are function words that have the neutral tone, such as 了, 的, 子, etc. But the question is, what's the pitch pattern for these words? Here is a general rule to keep in mind. The neutral tone is typically lower and shorter than the previous tone. For example, 他们, 他们. You can see here the plural suffix 们 has the neutral tone, and its pitch is lower than the previous tone. 他们. Now let's practice it. 他们. Here are some more examples. 妈妈, 妈妈. 儿子, 儿子. 谁的, 谁的. 爸爸, 爸爸. 栗子, 栗子. You can also see that the pitch of the neutral tone usually falls. One exception is that when the neutral tone is attached to a third tone in a word, like 姐姐, 奶奶, usually the neutral tone is pronounced a bit higher than its previous tone. So the pitch for this word would look like this. 姐姐, 姐姐. Note that the third tone is often just pronounced as a low tone. So here's a low tone plus the neutral tone that's a bit higher than it. Let's practice. 姐姐, 姐姐. 奶奶, 奶奶. 椅子, 椅子. Okay, so remember, the neutral tone is normally lower and shorter than their previous tone, except when it's attached to the third tone, then it becomes a little bit higher. Many sentence final particles in Chinese also have the neutral tone, but how to pronounce them is not so straightforward because their pitch can change depending on the attitude the speaker wants to convey. For example, this sentence final particle 啊 can convey various attitudes depending on the context and the pitch spoken with. For example, if you say 他会唱歌啊, 他会唱歌啊, the high-pitched 啊 here shows that the speaker is certain about the fact that he can sing. However, if you say 他会唱歌啊, 他会唱歌啊, The low-pitched ah here indicates that the speaker is uncertain about whether he can sing or not and is asking for a confirmation or simply expressing their surprise. So this is how it sounds with a high pitch. 他会唱歌啊，他会唱歌啊。And this is how it sounds with a low pitch. 他会唱歌啊，他会唱歌啊。Although the way to use ah is a bit more complex than this, these examples show that saying ah with a different pitch can convey different meanings. By the way, note that ah generally adds a casual feeling to the sentence, so we tend to use it with people we're close to. Here's another example. 呢，呢。In one of my previous videos, I've explained that when using ne with a different pitch, it can also convey different meanings. Let's take a look at it. The particle ne can be placed after a question to make the question sound softer and more polite. And when it's used in a question, it's pronounced with a high pitch. For example, 你想吃什么呢？你想吃什么呢？ What do you want to eat? 你想去哪里呢？你想去哪里呢？ Where do you want to go? However, when ne is added after a statement for emphasis or exaggeration, it's pronounced with a lower pitch. For instance, 他一个人能吃5碗呢。他一个人能吃5碗呢。He can finish 5 bowls on his own. 我连电脑都没带呢。我连电脑都没带呢。I didn't even bring my laptop. If you want to learn more about Chinese sentence final particles, I have several videos on this topic. You can find the links in the description below. Alright, the last thing I want to mention is that the use of the neutral tone has some regional variations. You will find that northern speakers in China use the neutral tone more frequently and apply them in a wider range of words. However, in some regions of southern China and in Taiwan, many people may simply pronounce the original tone of the characters. For example, in northern Mandarin, you will hear people say 衣服,衣服,打算,打算. However, in Southern and Taiwanese Mandarin, you might hear people say 衣服 and 打算. So even if you see a word marked as the neutral tone in the dictionary, in real life, they might still be pronounced with their original tone depending on the regions. Okay, that's it for today. I hope this video helped you understand the characteristics of the neutral tone. If you found today's video helpful and would like to support me in making more content, please visit my Ko-fi page. The link is in the description below. Thank you so much. Also, 如果你喜欢今天的影片，别忘记按赞、订阅和分享哦。And last but not least, if you want to learn some daily Mandarin expressions, check out my Instagram, Grace Mandarin. 那我们下次见喽，拜拜。